सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। We have seen how Bhagavan Bhashyakara, Bhagavan Shri Adi Shankaracharya ji builds this beautiful topic of prarabdha for the jnani. First he says that jnani does have prarabdha but does not have sanchita and agami, but prarabdha is there. Then slowly he takes it to the next level by saying that you see, but Brahmavid Varishtha, the highest level of jnani, doesn't have prarabdha, the others have. Then he slowly says that it is there but it is very light. Jnani is not feeling it. Then he goes on to say, actually speaking, prarabdha is there only for the upadhis of the jnani. And since there is no identification, prarabdha is not there for jnani. And finally he says, prarabdha is not even there for upadhis. What do you mean? Since the upadhis are on the level of vyavaharika satta, prarabdha is also on the level of vyavaharika satta only. It is not the ultimate fact. Then the question comes up, if prarabdha is not a fact, why Shruti is explaining it? So that also answer Shankaracharya gives by saying that is not the main purpose of the Shruti, to explain prarabdha, and therefore you see since prarabdha is there, therefore body, mind, intellect are real. No, that is, don't go other way around. Prarabdha is spoken of in the Shruti to satisfy the doubts of the students. Once those doubts are clarified, Shruti can go to its main focus. And what is it? To explain the nature of reality. That is the purpose of Upanishads. So Upanishads are trying to explain that main point. This topic is taken to satisfy the questions, so that the main topic can be taken. And what is that nature of the self was explained in the previous few verses that we have seen in the last session. I think from verse 465 to 471. All the verses ending with same, ekamevadvayam brahma nehananasti kinchana. That Brahman is one, non-dual reality, and there is absolutely no duality in it. So far we have seen this. Now, to tell you frankly, the main topic of the text concludes here. Now we see there are around 8 verses where the guru in the story, in the story of Vivekachoodamani, remember the student had gone to the guru. Now that guru is blessing the student. May you get this, may you get that, may you come to realize, etc., etc., for 8 verses. And thereafter 40 verses, the student is talking about his experience. And then we have explanation of videha mukti, etc., also, which is later. But now next things that are coming are this. So now what we see is the guru is giving his blessings to the student. Let us see that. Verse number 472. The meter changes because the topic changes, no? So meter changes. Nirastarāgā vinirastabhogāḥ. śāntāḥ sudāntā yatayo mahāntaḥ. vijñāya tattvaṃ parametadante. prāptāḥ parāṃ nirvṛtimātmayogāt. nirastarāgā vinirastabhogāḥ. śāntāḥ sudāntā yatayo mahāntaḥ. vijñāya tattvaṃ parametadante. prāptāḥ parāṃ nirvṛtimātmayogāt. Guru is telling this as a matter of fact. What happens to the seeker when he goes through all these things? Nirastarāgā. All his ragas, all his attachments, all his likes, nirasta, they are destroyed. They are gone. vinirastabhogāḥ. Bhogaḥ, enjoyments, worldly enjoyments are visheshena nisheshena asta. They also have been destroyed. So in some places there is a paṭhabheda also, nirastarāgā. Better version. Nirapasta. Totally gone. What? Bhogaḥ, enjoyments. So desire or attachment or likes are not there. Enjoyments are also not there. śāntāḥ. Those seekers who are now having complete control over their mind, sudāntā, and total control over their senses also. Yatayo, such seekers who are still striving, mahāntaḥ, large-hearted, they have become now great, noble people. All these, what happens? Etat param tattvaṃ ante vijñāya. Vijñāya tattvaṃ parametadante. Etat param tattvaṃ, this supreme tattva, reality, truth. Ante vijñāya. Ante has 2 meanings. Ante, one meaning is at the end. Ante. So vijñāya ante means what? One meaning is at the end they have come to realize this. Or ante means inside. Having realized this supreme reality within, means as their own self, parāṃ nirvṛtim prāptāḥ. They have reached, they have gained parāṃ nirvṛtim, absolute bliss, supreme bliss, nirvriti, bliss, shanti. How? Atmayogāt. As a result of yoga, union, Atma with the self. So, what all things he said? Desires and attachments are gone. Therefore, no worldly enjoyments are happening. Mind is totally under control. Senses are under control. Yatayo, which indicates that they are doing samadhi abhyasa also. mahāntaḥ, they have become great. And now what? They realize this supreme reality within, or they at the end realize this supreme reality and attain prāptāḥ. What? What is that they are getting? Paraṃ nirvṛtim. They are attaining that supreme bliss. See, the word is not nivritti. The word is nirvriti. Nirvriti means shanti. Shanti. Paraṃ nirvṛtim, paraṃ shantim prāptāḥ. So that is what has happened with them. Now, why is Guru telling? Next verse we will understand why Guru is saying like this. Let us see. Verse number 473. bhavānapīdaṃ paratattvamātmanaḥ svarūpamānandaghanaṃ vicārya vidhūya mohaṃ svamanaḥprakalpitaṃ muktaḥ kṛtārtho bhavatu prabuddhaḥ bhavānapīdaṃ paratattvamātmanaḥ svarūpamānandaghanaṃ vicārya vidhūya mohaṃ svamanaḥprakalpitaṃ muktaḥ kṛtārtho bhavatu prabuddhaḥ. Bhavānapi, you also, O my dear student, idam paratattvam atmanaḥ paratattvam svarūpam. Idam paratattvam, this supreme reality, atmanaḥ svarūpam, which is the nature of the self. What is it? Ānandaghanam, which is a mass of bliss. Vicārya, having inquired into. You also, my dear student, having inquired into this supreme reality, which is the nature of the self of supreme bliss. Having inquired into svamanaḥprakalpitaṃ mohaṃ vidhūya. Vidhūya, having washed, having shaken off. What? Delusion, mohaṃ. Svamanaḥprakalpitaṃ, which is generated, created, imagined by your own mind, by one's own mind, having shaken off, having washed off. Vidhūya, muktaḥ, kṛtārtho, prabuddhaḥ bhavatu. Prabuddhaḥ, become realized. Bodha yasya asti sah prabuddhaḥ. Become realized. Muktaḥ bhavatu, may you become liberated. Kṛtārtho bhavatu, may you become fulfilled, content. Fulfilled, kritam artham yena sah kṛtārtha. Whatever was to be done is done. May you also become like this. May you also realize the supreme and become liberated. Now here I want to draw your attention to one important point. Every single time when Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji was explaining to us what is it that causes realization, he had said three important factors. Efforts from the seeker, grace of the Lord, and blessings of the Guru. You go back and see wherever Shankaracharya ji has, pointed out things that are required for realization, for liberation, he would have said these three things. That you, as a seeker, we need to put efforts. Number one. It should have grace of the God, grace of the Lord, and blessings of the Guru. Then only this liberation is achieved. Putting efforts is in our hand. Grace of the Lord is always there. Now when here the blessing of the Guru comes, now we see in the upcoming verses that the student also realizes. So this blessing of the Guru is very, very important. Generally, in the Shastra, suddenly I am remembering one topic, so let me tell. This blessing of Guru is called as Diksha. Diksha. Have you heard this word Diksha? You have heard. Generally, the word Diksha is associated with something like Mantra Diksha or Brahmacharya Diksha, Sannyasa Diksha, like that. But actually, Diksha is beautifully explained. Diyate vimalam jnanam, kshiyate ajnana vasana. That by which vimalam jnanam diyate. Pure knowledge is given. And by giving that pure knowledge, what happens is ajnana vasana kshiyate. All the wrong impressions and the impressions born out of ignorance, they go away. That is called as Diksha. So in the Shastra, you will see that generally 3 types of Dikshas are spoken of. A very interesting science. First is called as Kukkuta Diksha. Kukkuta Diksha. Kukkuta means hen. Hen. Hen, hen. Bird, hen. Second is called as Matsya Diksha. Matsya Diksha. Matsya is fish, meena. Fish. And third is called as Kamatha Diksha. Kamatha is a tortoise or a turtle. Kamatha. What is this? What is this 3 kinds of Diksha? So looking at how these 3 animals are taking care of their children, these 3 Dikshas are named. Let me explain a little further. Hen, you must have seen, is always, remains in association with the children and will keep guiding, will keep, taking them with her and going forward. Matsya, fish, they say, does not touch, but only looks. Only looks at the children, and all the necessary things the children get through her, that fish's looks. And tortoise is very interesting because it gives birth to the children and then it goes away from it, from all of them. So the children are not even able to see the parent, but keeps on thinking about the children. See how interesting? So in the same way, they say there are 3 kinds of Dikshas that a guru does for a student. Sometimes some Diksha is Kukkuta Diksha. Kukkuta Diksha means by touch, by continuous association, the teacher will take care of the student, and guide. Lot of love and tenderness is shown. Sometimes it is not verbalized, it is not shown, but he looks very compassionately, blesses through loving vision. That's what in the beginning the student also had asked from the guru, if you remember. Kataksha, that is what he had asked. Brahmananda rasanubhuti kalitaihi, putaihi sushitaihi yutaihi, yushmat vak kalashojjitaihi shruti sukhaihi, vakyamritaihi sechaya. You teach. That is one thing. And then Kataksha, you just look at me with loving, care, and that is sufficient for me. Second kind of. And third is where the guru gives the knowledge and then leaves. Student has to do everything on their own, but the guru has confidence that they will be able to do, and therefore does not show any kind of love or care, does not show lot of nothing, just keeps thinking. Don't ask me which of the 3 is better, because all 3 are Dikshas only, all 3 are blessings. They have equal importance. But according to the student, the teacher decides which kind should be given to whom. You yourself will see, for some students, the teacher will be very loving and will take them and then, oh, my student. For some, he will not, he will just look at him and the student will do and then he will be happy. He will not say many things in words. For some people, the teacher will keep the student, the guru will keep the shishya away. But will just by thoughts, will keep on blessing. right? So these three dikshas are very interesting. Generally, this kind of thing we see more in the Shakta Sampradaya. This is very prominent. Shakti Upasakas, no, among them, and they associate three Devis with these three dikshas. First is called as Kanchi Kamakshi, the Kamakshi of Kanchi. Second is Madurai Meenakshi, the Meenakshi Devi of Madurai. Both are in Tamil Nadu. And third is Kashi Vishalakshi, Vishalakshi Amma from Kashi, Varanasi. So they say these three Devis are blessing the Kukkuta Diksha, Matsya Diksha and Kamatha Diksha respectively. For them, Devi herself is the Guru. So they speak of all these kind of things. Interesting. The point that I want to make is what? That blessings, when Guru's blessings come to the student who is putting efforts by God's grace, there that realization takes place. So now Guru is verbalizing that may you become like this is a huge thing. Is a huge thing. We already understand the power and importance of Guru. If Guru just wishes like this, our job is done. Okay. So we should put efforts so that we become worthy for this blessing of Guru, and then everything will happen. Right? Now what? He continues. Guru is continues his topic. What is he saying? Let us see. Verse 474. Samādhinā sādhuviniścalātmanā paśyātmatattvaṃ sphuṭabodhacakṣuṣā nissamśayam samyagavekshitaschet śrūṭabodhacakṣuṣā na punarvikalpyate. Samādhinā sādhuviniścalātmanā paśyātmatattvaṃ sphuṭabodhacakṣuṣā nissamśayam samyagavekshitaschet śrūṭabodhacakṣuṣā na punarvikalpyate. Beautiful. He says, Samādhinā, through meditation. Sādhuviniścalātmanā, with the Atma mind, Viniscala, which is well stilled. Sadhu, well. Through the meditation where the mind is completely still. Atmatattvaṃ paśya. Paśya is actually imperative mode. You come to see what? Atmatattvaṃ, the real nature, reality of the self. How? Sphuṭabodhacakṣuṣā, with the eyes of sphuta, clear, bodha, knowledge. Samādhinā sādhuviniścalātmanā sphuṭabodhacakṣuṣā atmatattvaṃ paśya. This is the blessing part, where he is saying, through meditation, with the mind that is fixed on Brahman, and with this clear understanding, okay, clear understanding represents Shravana Manana. Samādhinā is Samadhi, and that sādhuviniścalātmanā represents all the Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata, everything. So with Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata, Shravana Manana, Nididhyasana, everything fructifying, Atmatattvaṃ paśya. You come to see the real nature of the self. And very beautiful thing he says, nissamśayam samyagavekshitaschet śrūṭabodhacakṣuṣā. Chet, if śrūṭabodhacakṣuṣā, śrūṭah, that which is heard, padartha, the meaning of the words that are heard. If the meaning of the words that you have heard is nissamśayam, is doubtless, samyagavekshitah, and if you have understood it correctly, na punaha vikalpyate, then you will never fall back into delusion. Vikalpyate, you will never go back to imagination. So in the same verse, he is explaining the sadhana that leads to sadhya. And among all that, he also points out what is the main thing. So he has already said, chitta shuddhi, chitta ekagrata, shravana, manana, nididhyasana. This will lead us to the realization, experience of that self. Among that, he says that if you have understood correctly and doubtlessly the padartha, the meaning of the words of the Guru, of the scriptures, then you will never go back to delusion. So, when in the last verse he was explaining become this, and where we have to put efforts, this is where we have to put efforts. We have to put efforts to remove abhavana, asambhavana, viparita bhavana. Remember all these words? Abhavana is removed by shravana. I don't know is removed by shravana. Asambhavana, it is impossible. How is it? The doubts are removed by manana. And viparita bhavana, the contrary notion that I am jiva, is removed by nididhyasana. When we remove this, then that sphuṭabodha, that clear knowledge that we have, with that we will be able to see the pure self and we will never fall back into delusion. If at all we have to learn something, or notice something, this is unbelievable clarity of Shankaracharya. You see, in every single verse, he is not tired. He is in 474th verse. He is not tired of saying the same thing, but you see how everything he is putting together and explaining. He is not missing out on any point. Viniścalātmanā also is said, sphuṭabodhacakṣuṣā, samādhinā also is said. Everything is explained in that one verse and again presented to us. This is just brilliance of Shankaracharya. Right? So, we get a clarity. Now, at the end of it also, we have not got clarity. What should we do, Vedji? Then waste all these things are. He has said it so clearly. Gain chitta shuddhi, gain chitta ekagrata, listen, reflect, meditate. What should happen in listening? Abhavana should go. What should happen in reflection? Asambhavana should go. What should happen in meditation? Viparita bhavana should go. Once with all these things, you get that realization, you get that sphuṭabodha, and when we realize, we will never fall back into delusion. That is what is said here. Now, what? He says, now I will tell you what happens. What is the main pramana? I will tell you. Here he has said, if you have listened to Shruti statement as told by Guru correctly, doubtlessly, then you will not go back to delusion. Correct? Now he says that Shruti is pramana, but let me tell you some higher pramana. Let us see, verse number 475. Swasya vidya bandha sambandha mokshat satya jnanānanda rūpātmalabdhau shāstram yuktir deshikoktif pramanam cha. Shastram yuktihi deshika uktihi pramanam. Shastram yuktir deshikoktif pramanam cha. Shastram yuktir deshikoktif pramanam. Antas siddha svanubhutif pramanam. Or you can put that cha there also. Chantas siddha also is okay, but doesn't sound good, therefore I connected cha here, but both are okay. Swasya vidya bandha sambandha mokshat satya jnanānanda rūpātmalabdhau shastram yuktir deshikoktif pramanam chāntasiddhā svanubhutif pramanam. He says, swasya, one's own, avidya bandha sambandha mokshat. Mokshat, by liberating. By liberating from what? Sambandha, connection. Connection with what? Bandha, bondage. That is upadhis. Avidya, of ignorance. So by liberating from the connection with the bondage of ignorance of yourself, one's own, for what? Why should I separate myself from this connection? Satya jnana ananda rupa atmalabdhau. In order to gain the self, which is of the rupa, of the nature of Satya, Jnana, Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. So, in order to gain one's own nature, what am I doing? I am trying to separate myself, liberate myself from the connection with the bondage of ignorance that I have got. Now, in order to do this, in order to disassociate myself from the connection with the bondage, what is the pramana? Pramana means authoritative means. What is authoritative means? He enumerates. Shrutihi, scriptures, Upanishads, Gita, Brahma Sutra, Prakarana Granthas. This is Shruti. Yuktihi. Yuktihi is logic, reasoning, your own reflection. Deshika Uktihi, and the words of the Deshika teacher. These are pramana. Yes or no? So far, wherever we have reached in spiritual life or on the spiritual path, how we have reached here? Because we listened to somebody, or we studied a text, or we ourselves reflected. So these are the means, authoritative means for reaching this up to here also, and then finally reaching the ultimate purpose of life also. So these are generally the pramanas. So we always, what do we say? Shruti. Now that Shruti, we don't understand, therefore we need Deshikokti. The words of the Guru are required, the words of the teacher are required, because we ourselves are not understanding Shruti directly. Though we are able, first thing, because it is in Sanskrit, we are not able to read. Even if we read, we don't understand. Even if we understand, we are not sure whether we have understood correctly or not. So for all these confusions to go away, we need the words of the teacher. And along with it, we need yukti, our own logic and reasoning. Why? Because without it, the knowledge will remain of the Guru and in the scriptures. To make it my own knowledge on what I have heard from the Guru about the words of the scriptures, I myself must reflect. Are you getting the logic? So these things are pramanas. But he says, Guru says here, now, at this stage where you have reached and where you have realized, antasiddha swanubhutihi pramanam. But now, after having walked the entire path, what is the proof? What is the final authority? He says, swanubhuti. One's own experience. Where is it? Antasiddha, which is established within. Antasiddha, the inner kind of accomplishment of one's own experience, that is the final proof. Careful, okay? Generally, when the topic of pramana comes in Advaita Vedanta, we say there is threefold pramana. Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti. Generally, the Anubhuti which is spoken of there is called as Vidvat Anubhuti. Experience of the wise. Not your anubhuti, not your experience, but experience of the wise. So here the same point is explained by Shankaracharya by saying Shrutihi, Yuktihi, Deshikoktihi. Deshikokti is this Vidvat Anubhuti. Is the experience of wise people who have walked the scriptural path and have reached, and then they are confirming, yes, this is true. For us, Shankaracharya's words, for us, Gurudev's words are Deshikokti. Why? They are confirming what the scriptures are telling. The famous anecdote is there, no, of Raman Maharshi. Raman Maharshi used to just sit, and different scholars used to come, different sadhus used to come and give lectures. And Raman Maharshi will say, correct, this is right, scripture is right, scripture. So he has experienced it. So his words also become pramana for us. So Shruti becomes pramana. Yukti, which is in line with the Shruti, that is also pramana. And Vidvat Anubhuti or Deshikokti also becomes pramana. But the final pramana is what? My own experience. Why? Because there all other kinds of things end. Even a slight doubt which may be there whether it is right or not will end when we ourselves experience. When we ourselves experience. Are you getting? So, yes, on the path, Shastra, Shruti, Yukti, Deshika Ukti, Vidvat Anubhava, all these things are pramanas. Yes. Do because they have said it. Why? Because we have belief. With that belief, do it. And then finally it has to culminate where? Antasiddha swanubhutihi. That inner accomplishment of one's own experience, that is the final proof. Now the question is, why this anubhuti is the final proof? Why not anything else? Shankaracharya explains it with some examples. Next verse, let us see, 476. Bandho mokshascha triptischa śāntāḥ svenaiva vedya yajñānam pareshāṃ ānumanikam. Bandho mokshascha triptischa śāntāḥ svenaiva vedya yajñānam pareshāṃ ānumanikam. Beautiful. He says, why anubhuti is pramana? He says, because there are few things that you yourself will know. Nobody else can know it like you know it. What are those things? Bandha, bondage. You yourself know how much bondage you are feeling. Moksha, liberation. Tripti, contentment. Tripti means contentment. You yourself will know whether you are fulfilled or not. Chinta, worry. See, that is why we are very insensitive to other people. When somebody else is worrying, you very easily say, why are you worrying? You don't know what that person is going through. So your worry, your anxiety, only you know. Arogya is health. Whether you are healthy or not, you only will know. And that's why when you go to the doctor, doctor first asks you one question, how are you feeling? Doctor does not tell you you are feeling good. No. Doctor says you look good. How are you feeling? Kshuddha, the sixth one is hunger. You yourself will know that you are hungry. Nobody else has to tell. So these six things, bandha, moksha, tripti, chinta, arogya, kshuddha, svena eva vedyaha, they should be known by oneself. They are known by oneself. Why should be? They are known by oneself only. Pareshāṃ yajñānam When other people come to know about all these about you, anumanikam, it is an inferential knowledge. So you are in a bondage. If other person is telling, then it is an inference. The judgment of your level of worry that other people think is an inference. Many people, when they are hungry, they start to get angry. When they are hungry, they start to get angry. There is a now new word formed also, hungry. Hangry? Hangry. What is hangry? That because of my hunger, I am getting angry. Now what happens? Looking at the anger, your wife or husband or friend may tell you eat something. Now what is this? This is an inference that because you are getting angry for no reason, it is an inference that maybe you are hungry. It is an inference. Please understand. You yourself will only know whether you are hungry or not. You yourself will know whether you are healthy or not. You yourself will know what is the level of worry or anxiety you have. Whether you are contented, fulfilled or not. Whether you are bound or whether you are liberated. All these things you yourself alone can know. And therefore, this one's own experience is the final praman. Why? Because after that, no pramana is required. When I myself have experienced it, then I don't need anything else. Why? My experience it has become. Now remember, to make it into my experience, I have to follow other pramanas. Shruti, Yukti, Vidvat, Anubhuti, Deshikokti, etc., etc. That is how I have reached. But once I have reached, I know I have reached. I don't need anybody else's confirmation. Right? Or, signing authority. Now, yes, you have reached. Not required. Not required. Right? So, that is why Shankaracharya says here, this swa-anubhuti is the final proof, final authority. Right? Now, what brilliance of Shankaracharya, I can't even tell you. Now, what does he say? Let us read. Verse number 477. Tatastita bodhayanti gurava shrutayo yatha prajñayaiva tared vidvān ishvara-anugrahitaya tatastita bodhayanti gurava shrutayo yatha prajñayaiva tared vidvān ishvara-anugrahitaya. He says, Guravaha, all the gurus, all the teachers, Shrutayaha yatha, like the scriptures, even the gurus, Bodhayanti, they teach how Tatastitaha. By staying on the banks, they are teaching. What an individual should do? Prajñaya eva tared vidvān. Vidvān, a wise seeker, prajñaya eva taret. By using his own intelligence alone, he should cross over. Taret. Taret means float. Ishvara-anugrahitaya prajñaya. That prajña, that wisdom which you have got by the grace of the Lord. Ishvara-anugrahitaya. So, by the grace of the Lord, one should, gain the wisdom and cross the ocean. What is the role of Shruti and Guru? They will stay on the banks and instruct. Remember, that is very important. Don't say, oh, you are not here, there. Shruti is telling you what is there on the other side. To imagine, you can imagine like this. There is a river, you have to cross. Okay. Shruti is on the side of the river from where you started. Guru is on the side of the river where you are supposed to end. And both of them are giving you instruction as to how to go about, what to do, whether there is any problem or not. But remember, both of them are teaching and you are just like this, not putting efforts. What will happen? You will drown. Why? Shruti is shouting, Guru is shouting, both are telling you are not following anything. That won't work. So what is the effort that the seeker is putting? Prajna, reflection, inquiry. That is the effort that I am putting, and that effort is possible by what? Ishwaranugrahitaya. You see how he is bringing every topic together, you see? He is not losing on any topic. He tells what is the role of the Shastra, what is the role of the Guru. They are supposed to instruct. They are guiding. That's why Gurudev always used to say, I am the pointer and not the pointed. The scriptures are also pointing to that Supreme. So they are instructing. Now one has to follow the instruction oneself, and while following the instruction, while putting the effort of reflection, one should remember that he is able to do this by grace of the Lord. And there, even all these things come together, we will reach. Okay. Guru Vedanta Vakyadishu Vishwasa Shraddha. In the beginning, this is not tattvaṃ, Vivekachoodamani. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya sattvabuddhyavadharana sa Shraddha Katita Sadbhihi Yaya Vastupalabhyate. Vivekachoodamani, right at the beginning, he has said, Satya Buddhi Avadharana. In what? Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya. See, that is where it starts. Explicit belief, strong faith in the words of the scriptures and words of the Guru. This is the first pramana. This is where we have to start. Now, as we start listening, then slowly Guru says, now you start to think, reflect, put efforts, walk the path, do this sadhana. And to this sadhana, to this effort, when God's grace also comes together, then we reach the goal. In another text that Pujya Guruji Swami Tejomayananji has written called Subodha Vedanta, he says there are 5 kinds of Shraddha. 5 kinds of Shraddha. What kind of Shraddha we should have? He says number 1, first Shraddha is in Shastra, Shruti. What? Vedanta is the final authority. I must have faith that it is the absolute final thing to explain to me where I have to reach and how to reach. If Vedanta, if Shruti is saying that Atman is of this nature, I should not doubt. Oh, who said? No, don't doubt. Why? If you doubt, you will never reach. So, explicit faith in Vedanta. Second, in the existence of the Lord, and also the belief that He will take care of me. So that Supreme Brahman is, Ishvara is, and He will take care of me. That is the next one. Second kind of faith. He says third is the faith that my Guru is a realized person. My Guru is Brahmanishta. So whatever he is saying is for my benefit and will never go wrong. Number 3. Fourth, faith in oneself that by the grace of God and Guru, I will be able to put the efforts and I will reach the Supreme in this life itself. Faith in oneself. So Shastra Shraddha, Ishvara Shraddha, Guru Shraddha, Atma Shraddha. And fifth and final one, faith in the sadhana that my Guru and Shastra has given for me, which I am able to do by God's grace. That the means that are given to me, Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Ekagrata, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, these are the means given to me. Full faith that yes, this is the right means. If our faith is not strong in any of these 5, we will not be able to progress. Now remember, when we have faith on these 5 things will bless us. Shastra will bless us, Shastra Kripa. Ishvara will bless us, Ishvara Kripa. Guru will bless us, Guru Kripa. We ourselves, efforts will be blessed, Atma Kripa. And then finally, Sadhana Kripa. When all these 5 blessings come, we will be able to realize. See how beautifully the Shastra is explaining. That's what Shankaracharya says here. The Shruti, Vedanta and Guru, they are tatasthitaha, bodhayanti. They are giving knowledge, but they are on the tata and giving knowledge. Now what I have to do? I have to listen and put efforts myself. And when these efforts will have blessings of God, then what will happen? I will reach, I will cross over this ocean of samsara. Okay, Maya Nadi, this river called Maya, we will be able to cross. Now here also, see what he is also trying to say is that Anubhuti is where the final pramana is. When you reach the other shore, that is it. That's the final pramana. All others are only helping you to get that final pramana. Right? That same point he explains further in the next verse and concludes the topic. Let us see. Svanubhutya swayam jnatva svamātmānamakhānditam samsiddhas sammukham tishthet nirvṛtimātmayogāt svanubhutya swayam jnatva svamātmānamakhānditam samsiddhas sammukham tishthet nirvṛtimātmayogāt. What is he saying? Swanubhutya. Swanubhutya, through one's own experience. Swayam, oneself. Swamatmanam, one's own self. Akhanditam jnatva, realizing it to be the unbroken reality. Who is realizing? Me. Whose self? My own self. How? Swanubhutya, by my own experience. So by realizing the unbroken self, oneself, by oneself, one's own experience, one's own self, when this happens, samsiddha, well established, being well established, samsiddha, san, atmani sammukham tishthet. Tishthet, may you remain, sammukham, right in front of the self. Means what? May you have one-to-one experience of the self. Sammukha. Sammukha means right in front. There is also susukham tishthet. Another part is there. Susukham. It's fine. Sammukham is better. Sammukham tishthet. You stay. May you come to stay in front of the self. How? Nirvṛtimātmayogāt. With the mind, atmana here, with the mind which is nirvikalpa, without any duality, without any modification. So again here, what is he saying? Carefully note, he is hinting towards 3 things. One he is saying is jnatva, svanubhutya, and third is tishthet. Jnana, atmajnana, anubhuti, aparokshanubhuti, and tishthet means atmanishtha. May you come to know, may you come to realize, may you get established in the self. This is the blessing that the teacher is giving to the student. May you attain all these things. What a beautiful blessing. Right? Now the Guru concludes with the summary statement of the entire Vedanta. Guru concludes. Next verse, Guru concludes. Let us see verse number 479. Vedanta siddhanta niruktiresha ब्रह्मैव जीवः सकलं जगच्च अखण्डरूपस्थितिरेव मोक्षः ब्रह्माद्वितीये श्रुतयः प्रमाणम् वेदान्तसिद्धान्तनिरुक्तिरेषा ब्रह्मैव जीवः सकलं जगच्च अखण्डरूपस्थितिरेव मोक्षः ब्रह्माद्वितीये श्रुतयः प्रमाणम्. He says, Vedanta Siddhanta Niruktihi Esha. Niruktihi, final statement. Siddhanta, of the stand of Vedanta. This is the final conclusive statement of the philosophy of Vedanta. What is it? Brahma eva jivaha sakalam jagatcha. Jiva is Brahman alone. Sakalam jagatcha, and the entire world is also Brahman alone. Means what? Brahman alone is. There is neither the Jiva nor Jagat. Jiva is also Brahman, world, Jagat is also Brahman. Brahman alone is. Akhanda rupa sthitihi eva moksha. And to be well established, akhanda means unbroken. Rupa, nature. So abidance, sthiti, abidance in one's own unbroken state or nature of the self, that itself is moksha, that itself is liberation. Liberation is not going somewhere and attaining some world. That is not liberation. Liberation is to realize one's own true nature and abide in it. Abidance in one's own nature itself is moksha. Brahma advitiye shrutayah pramanam. In this context of Brahman being the non-dual reality, Shruti is the only pramana. Vedas are the final authority. Why? Alaukika vishaye vedaha pramanam. Because Veda is the authority for that which is beyond world. Alaukika vishaye. That which cannot be known by senses, mind or intellect, Shruti is the final authority. And it tells, therefore, we must believe, then inquire, and then realize. Believe, inquire, realize. Believe, first step. Then only Shravana will happen. Inquire, Manana. And realize, Nididhyasana. Okay, so Jiva is Brahman, means there is no Jiva. Jagat is Brahman, means there is no Jagat. Means what? Brahman alone is. This is what Shankaracharya would say, no, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Jivaha Brahma eva, na aparaha. The same thing is explained in a different way here. And establishing oneself in this nature of Brahman as one's own self is what is called as liberation. This is the essential teaching of entire Vedanta. That is it, done. Okay, so here the Guru concludes, stops. Now, Shankaracharya is saying, now what happened to the student? In the next two verses, he will tell what happened to the student, and then the student will start narrating his experience, okay, which we will see in the coming classes. Sufficient for today. Okay. All right. Chalo. Let us conclude. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.